Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Many of you may not know that you actually have 5 opportunities to get approved for up to $25,000, okay, in credit card funding when you have bad credit. Okay, and I'm gonna break those options down for you, and so that way you can actually decide if you want to stack it this way or you just want to apply for just one credit card. All right, but you have 5, okay, and so those 5 options, you have your fintechs. Okay, so with your fintechs, these are the ones, they're not specifically going off of the credit. Okay, they're focused more on how long you've been at your address. Do you have a checking account? Do you have regular deposits in your checking account? Okay. How long you been on your job? What's your education level? This is what most of your fintech credit cards actually look at. All right. And so with some of those fintech examples, like you have credit.ai. Okay. Credit.ai. All right. And so it actually looks at your bank account. What are your transactions? What are your deposits and stuff? So they start you out with up to $1,500. Now it reports on your Experian and your Equifax, so it does not report on your TransUnion. But I'm just giving you some examples. Then you have the Avant card. Now the Avant card can go anywhere from $300 up to $10,000. All right, and it's an AI card as well. All right, and so these are more likely if you're a beginner or you're looking for a second chance card. These are the type of cards you're going to be looking for. Then you have Mission Lane, okay? And so with Mission Lane, what it is, many of you all may have tried Mission Lane. They give up to starting out at $2,000, $3,000, all right? And so some people like them, some people don't. But again, they're in the fintech industry. Now, there is a new card, and I'm going to make a separate video on it, but it's called the Tilt card, okay? And the reason that this here card is so far outstanding, remember I made the video about the Walmart card? Well, when I tell you about this here card, you definitely is going to want to apply for this card. It's going to be in a separate video that I'm going to be dropping, but you definitely going to want to get access to this card, especially when you have bad credit. All right. Now, for the basic of that Tilt card, it goes from $300 up to $3,500. Then your other AI card, the card is the Telmo card. Now, this is one of the most controversial cards because it'll give up to $30,000. However, some people didn't like the card is because they said that it may not report on time. But the good part about it, it is a charge card. And so being able to have the opportunity to add like a high limit to your credit profile so that you can get access to more funding and stuff like that. By the way, there is 2 trade lines that you may want to consider if you're trying to get high limit credit cards and stuff like that. There's 2 types of trade lines that you should consider, and one is the authorized user. And the reason is because, and you have to be careful about the authorized user, and the reason is because with the authorized users, all authorized users do not transfer the history. Okay, now the balance would go over, but the history won't go over. All right, and so this actually can hurt you. So you have to be careful about adding on authorized user. Now, there's a company out there called Shop IFJ, okay, online. And so I'll put a link below, but they give you up to $15,000 line of credit to report on the credit file, from $8,000 up to $15,000. And this here actually helps reduce your DTI, your debt to income ratio, just like the authorized user. This can also help boost up your credit score so you can get higher limit credit cards, okay, as well as loans. That being said, going back to these credit card options to help you is that once you have your fintech companies, okay, then the next one is going to be like your high fee type of credit cards. These are your second options. All right, now your high fee type of credit cards would be like Indigo. Now with the Indigo card, it goes from $700 up to $1,000 starting limit. Then you have the Destiny card. It goes from $700 up to $1,000 as well. Now, there's another credit card that's in the credit card game. Man, there's a couple credit cards that are new that I'm telling you all, and so I hope you're paying attention. So we talked about the Tilt, which is a new one. We're going to go more in detail with a new video on that. Then there's the Atlas, okay? And so the Atlas, it's a unsecured credit card as well. But however, when it talks about fees and stuff, the good part about it, it doesn't charge you no annual fees. Now, the thing about it, it does charge you a monthly fee, but it doesn't charge you no annual fees. Plus, another thing about it, it actually gives you 4 times the average limit when you have bad credit. So say that like an average credit card may start you out at $300. Well, with the Atlas card, they may start you out like at $1,200 or $1,500 or $2,000. All right, it just depends. But again, this is for you guys that have bad credit, that's looking for a second chance credit card, or you're starting to rebuild your credit or start out in the credit card game. All right, now that's your second option. Your third option is with your credit unions, okay? And the reason that your credit unions are giving you this $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 credit limits and stuff like that is because of the relationship. And so what I mean by the relationship, you may be have been with, like, let's use Navy Federal for like a year or so, right? And you have direct deposits, but you also have your checking account, savings account. You may have a money market account or a CD. You may have the pledge loan. Okay, so you have multiple accounts with them. And because you have multiple accounts with them, even with a 550 credit score, they're willing to give you up to $25,000. All right. Now, here's another credit union that I just recently released a video that will do the same thing, and that's with Affinity. Okay, and so these are the type of credit unions that, long as you have multiple accounts, you done built a relationship. I usually say about 90 days. All right, so it doesn't have to be a year, but just having multiple accounts, I would give it about 90 days. But Affinity credit union, now there's 2 type of Affinity credit unions that I told you guys. There's Affinity Plus, and then there's Affinity. You want to go with the Affinity credit union, okay? Because that's the one more likely to give you the $25,000. All right, so you have to make sure you don't get those mixed up. Then your next option is with your Vantage 3 and 4. Now this is where the low-hanging fruit comes in at, because here's where you can actually leverage this. First, you want to start out with going over to Credit Karma, right? And you want to challenge the negative items on your TransUnion and your Equifax. By the way, guys, know a lot of you all are using like Dispute Beast and this other type of thing to challenge negative items on your credit. Well, guess what? TransUnion are starting to fight back. And so like some of you guys may have had accounts removed off your credit file and stuff like that. Well, what happened is TransUnion is going through this, and they're looking at all of these automated systems. That's the reason with our system, we do not use automated letters. We actually will write the letters out and you mail them off. The reason is that's to cover you of any legal liability. When you use those other systems online, again, yes, they say that you can actually, with the online systems, what ends up happening is that once you put in, you challenging it or whatever, then they're coded, okay? And so by them coding it, now they know it's been challenged. However, TransUnion is starting to challenge that. So a lot of people that have been using these automated systems and stuff like that, well, TransUnion is starting to fight back. And so you may see some negative accounts end up popping up on your credit profile, okay? Like with your charge-offs and collections that legally supposed to be there, at least to their terms, okay? So Again, this is the reason why we actually write the letters and we give you the proper letters to actually send the challenge to stuff. That way, when you have full legal documentation and they do something like that, and yes, they will do it, then you can actually take them to court and sue them. Okay, because you followed the full protocol. But when you use those other systems, I'm not saying you're not following proper protocol, but this is something that TransUnion is trying to contest now. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. All right, now going back to these Vantage 3 and Vantage 4. All right, so you have like Alliant Credit Union. They use a Vantage 3. You have NASA Credit Union uses a Vantage 4. You have BCU, Baxter Credit Union. You have Veridian. There's plenty of the Vantage 3 and 4 out there, right? And the reason that you want to look at those, again, because you can add the authorized users, you can add the rental history, you can add subscriptions, okay? So you can add those type of things to increase the credit score. And again, like I said, going through Credit Karma, challenging those things, as well as going through Experian and challenging those things. And all those things usually will pause from reporting. They should be paused from reporting they will start within 48 to 72 hours, okay? And then from that point is where you would start applying for these type of credit cards and stuff, because they should not be showing up on the credit profile. All right, sorry, I'm a little distracted. Just one moment. All right, so then your last option is with the banks. That's right. Certain banks will definitely work with you, and one of the banks that are most notorious for working with you when you have bad credit and stuff like that, of course, is with Capital One. Okay, so Capital One being a subprime lender, the best credit cards would be the Capital One Saver credit card. You don't want the Capital One Platinum, you want the Saver credit card. This is the one when you have bad credit, they'll give you the highest limit. So that's the credit card you want to get. And then another Capital One card is on the business side with the Capital One Spark Classic card, okay? And so those are the best 5 options you have in terms of getting approved when you have bad credit. If you have any question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.